Hello everybody and welcome. I am Atomic Zero of Addicted to Loot, and today we're going to be going over one hell of a video release from Creative Assembly regarding Total War Warhammer. It's actually a battle between the Empire and the Chaos Warriors, and this is the first time we get to see the Chaos Warriors in battle, and it's one exciting thing to see. So with that, we're just going to jump right into this.
Hello all and welcome to another video for Total War Warhammer. My name is Joey Dalton and I'm joined by Darren McNally, who has played through this battle as the Empire versus the Chaos Warriors. And Darren, tell us a little bit about this map, where we are and what you're doing.
Alright, so we're up in the northern areas of Norska, and we're defending as Empire against the Chaos Warriors. So this is a custom battle that we've played previously, or I played it previously, and we're kind of commentating over it in hindsight like we've done with the Vampire Siege.
Can we just take a minute to really adore just how gorgeous this environment is? I mean, seriously, this looks like it would be ripped right out of my mind of what Norska or what the Chaos Lace would look like right from the Warhammer universe. I mean, the level of detail Creative Assembly has been getting within, I call them pitch battles, these land battles that are outside sieges. So far, I mean, it's really quite incredible, and it's actually making the game shine a lot. Each one has really a unique feel. As soon as you go into the battle, I mean, you can really get a feeling of where you are within the campaign map. I mean, we have sprawling wastelands of the Badlands through the vast caverns of the underground Dwarven pathways to the lush forests of Stirling, or within the Empire, the kind of the dead forests of Sylvania, and now really the chaotic, pun intended, tundra of Norska. I mean, the jagged rocks. This just looks like one hell of a place to live, and absolutely it's terrifying place.
So we're playing at the Golden Monolith. It's just a really nice looking map. It's also
the Golden Monolith. Funny thing, a monolith here is a blasphemous construction of stone raised to honor and commemorate the lives of a great chaos champion who has either died or actually ascended to demonhood. I couldn't find anything specifically about the Golden Monolith, but the other monoliths found across the Chaos Waste in Norska do have a particular lore background to them.
So available on the campaign map. If you find it on the map, you can just go fight there if you wish. So I thought I'd do this in custom battle. It's a good example of defending against the Chaos Warriors horde as they come down into your lovely lush green Empire territories and lay waste to everything. This is a good example of what you can experience in the campaign, and so let's take a look really quick.
So this would be kind of different from the take from the Vampire Count gameplay video, where really the Chaos horde, if you will, has already made its way into the Empire. This looks like this would be an Empire campaign where you're actually trying to prevent Chaos from ever leaving the Waste. So I don't know if this is really far into the Chaos Waste or actually right on the border. It sounds like it's about the very first spot that the Empire armies could prevent Chaos from coming down.
Quickly over at their armies.
Also, just to note, everything you see in the Chaos Warrior army will be present for you to fight against, whether you pre-order or not.
Right, so here we go. This is the Chaos Chariot. They're armored and they're anti-infantry.
This looks so freaking cool. I mean, the horses look kind of straight out of hell, which, if you can imagine what the Chaos, like what inside a Chaos Portal would look like, probably very similar. Actually driven by a Marauder, and actually has looks like a heavy Chaos Warrior with a halberd on the back of it. Plus you have, spikes with blades coming off of each side, as well as the horse are covered in all types of spikes. This is one hell of a vehicle to have on the battlefield. Actually, you can see later, they don't do a great view of it, but they actually completely almost obliterate a whole unit. We're going to get more into the Marauders and the Chaos Warriors as they get a little bit further into the army comp.
They're looking absolutely badass as well.
Yeah, pretty terrifying, I've got to say. Look at their
I really love the fire effect on the horses. I absolutely love it. All these small little touches graphically to all these units is just really out of this world.
horns.
Yeah, so everything with Chaos is embroidered again with skulls and spikes and metal and just, really, really evil looking kind of race. So over here we have the Chaos Knights, again armored and shielded. You've got flames coming off the hooves of their cavalry and their eyes as well. Even their shields have flames just coming off them constantly.
I think their shields are amazing.
Then we've got the Chaos Warhounds, which have scaly skin. They're very fast and they're weak to armor.
So scaly skin is like a type of armor?
Yeah, so they're good against missiles, essentially.
So for they're kind of equivalent to the direwolves of the Vampire Counts. However, the scaly skin actually kind of gives them, they're pretty good against, it sounds like arrow units. I don't know about gunpowder units, considering I think they would need an arc to be able to evade these arrows, but they actually say they can dodge arrows, and I don't know if they can basically just outrun the volley of the arrows, or if they actually can like dodge the arrow right before it hits. But I guess either way, it probably has the same type of gameplay impact.
And they're super fast, so they can actually just basically dodge them. Chaos Marauders, which are your kind of basic infantry, your kind of low tier basic.
Okay, so a Marauder is a mortal human that's just starting their quest to join the Chaos ranks. So they are basically trying to gain favor from one of the Chaos gods and basically ascend to Chaos Warrior level. And then from there, for their ultimate goal to actually become a demon of the Chaos god that they're trying to gain favor in, or basically what they're worshipping for. And these guys are very much kind of your tier 1 unit, which they're going to be kind of be the first ones in, or kind of your fodder unit, at least to kind of entertain your enemy until your more heavy, more elite Chaos Warriors actually get into the fray.
Infantry. They're shielded, so they're decent in combat as well. But behind them we have the Chaos Warriors themselves.
And now the Chaos Warriors. These are actually men that have dedicated themselves to a specific Chaos god, and they actually have risen to favor by their chosen Chaos god by making a pilgrimage to the shrine of the god and offering their soul. And if they're accepted, so if they have enough favor with that god, they actually get their Chaos armor permanently bound to their body. And the one thing you don't really see here, and I think because the Chaos Horde is marching down, especially behind Archon the Everchosen, it's that all the Chaos gods are kind of, I think at this stage, are bound together within this army, within this horde. So you're not going to see the differentiation between the 4 Chaos gods, which is Khorne, Nurgle, Slaanesh, and Tzeentch. I'll go kind of a quick summary of each just to let you know kind of what goes into each one of the Chaos gods. Khorne is the blood god who really just desires slaughter, warfare, violence, and just like martial prowess of his champions. Nurgle is the lord of disease and the god of decay, and he really gets his power from physical corruption or the physical suffering of someone that's, you know, plague-ridden with their like skin just basically dissolving off their bodies. Tzeentch is actually the god of change and actually gains his power from any type of change, meaning life to death, good to bad, love to hate, or even if you just change your clothes for the day. That's all a kind of a worship to Tzeentch, just anything, any type of change. And actually it's kind of a chaos god that doesn't always go evil. Even if someone went from evil to good, that's a change that Tzeentch can actually take power from. Slaanesh is actually the youngest of the chaos gods, and it is the god of excess and pleasure, meaning anyone who yearns for more. You want a bigger car, more money. You want, instead of driving a little jalopy of a car, you want a Ferrari. It just keep on getting more and more, and nothing that you strive for, nothing that you hunger for is enough, and that yearning, that constant need for the next level is what really goes towards Slaanesh.
Which are the armored and shield, which are also armored and shielded. They're kind of just the upgrade to the Marauders. They're much more powerful, much stronger in melee, much stronger in defense. Then over here we have the Chosen. Now these guys, it's getting pretty serious now when you get over these guys. They're looking pretty badass. They got even more spikes on their shields.
So apparently the number of spikes means higher tier warrior. So if you see someone who looks like a freaking porcupine, run the hell away.
That basically means that they're more armored and they're more shielded and they're very, very powerful in melee combat. And they have their great weapons variant over here, which means they ditch the shield and they just use 2 hands for their sword, for their weapon here. And it's extremely powerful, really good armor piercing damage on them as well. So those are the guys we want to watch out for the most in this battle.
I think I'm watching out for this guy.
That's true, actually. So this is the Chaos Giant.
I'm assuming the Chaos Giant and the Chaos Troll we'll see in a few seconds probably function just like the equivalent, the greenskin equivalent, just with all the chaotic paint around them. And apparently an axle off of a chariot, or maybe a Honda Accord. Kind of hard to tell.
Pretty much does what it says on the tin. He's massive and he's ripped to shreds with bones and stuff all through his skin and his face.
The Hell Cannon is actually a very interesting thing. It's actually forged by the Chaos Dwarfs, which are these lovely individuals down here within volcanic furnaces. These cannons are actually sentient, meaning they actually are living, breathing beings, if you will. And they need to be chained to the ground and constantly guarded, so they constantly need to have support from a Chaos Dwarf. To basically, they'll just unleash anything, they'll destroy anything they see fit as opposed to being guided. The ammo of the Hell Cannon are actually the bodies of recently fallen warriors, or just basically any fallen person they can find. They get loaded into the back of the cannon, which would kind of be, I guess, these morphing faces behind here, and the Hell Cannon itself basically melts down the being, including their soul, all their energy, into a great projectile of power that we'll see in a little bit here. It's actually a really cool looking projectile, and also you can see the flames dancing around the Hell Cannon. Looks like the lava's flowing right through the barrel, the mouth of the being kind of ablaze with the projectile getting ready to fire.
That's what we got here.
Hell Cannon's really cool. It's got like bulging organic material on the back, and it's like this just insanely massive death machine that they can wheel around.
You said it.
Here we have the Chaos Trolls. Basically, again, do what they say in the tin. They can regenerate. They have poor leadership, so what happens a lot with these guys is they go into combat, they kind of do a lot of damage, then they kind of back out, they regenerate and come back in.
Poor leadership on a troll. That seems interesting, that almost like if they're not constantly babysat, they're just going to run away, which would be interesting for a monstrous unit that actually can overpower anyone it's facing, as well as vomit up as metal-eating acid. And I'm not even sure, I'm pretty sure the Chaos version could do the same kind of acid breath as the Greenskin version, but I don't think they showed in this video.
They can flee pretty quickly.
Yeah, and speaking of, I think they have fleas all over them. You can see them picking away at themselves. Then over here, lastly, we have the Chaos Warhounds. These are the poison variation. So you notice they have a kind of greenish tint to them as well. Basically, poison does speed damage and damages your overall strength as well.
Okay, so if any type of poison or venom unit affects attack speed, and I guess the overall damage output of that unit. So I would assume this would be the same for the Greenskin, the Night Elf Archers, or any of the Night Goblin units that actually have the poison effect to them. I don't recall. I know the Dwarves don't. I know the Empire don't. I don't think the Vampire counts have them as well. But anything that would have venom would probably be very interesting to use as a debuffing unit.
So you want to watch out for them. Again, just like a more powerful version of the other Warhounds. So the Fade to Black there, just for people who are wondering, is basically I had to enable a dev command to allow me to see beyond the fog of war to show you those units, because I am playing as the Empire, and normally they're hidden in the Shroud, so I've just re-enabled that, went out and went back in, and here I am playing as the Empire. That's the Reichsguard unit there. You might have seen them in an introducing video. They're like really good shock cavalry, and then I just have some spears on the flanks. These are just spearmen, pretty basic infantry unit. It's worth mentioning we've got Karl Franz fighting this battle, which we'll get to in a second, against Archaon the Everchosen.
And a Celestial Wizard down here as well.
Celestial Wizard, Lord of Heaven, so they were the ones that cast down that giant meteorite in the Blackfire Pass video.
Celestial Wizard that you might have noticed from Blackfire Pass on the announced trailer that we did a long time ago. And Karl Franz riding Deathclaw up here. I always think Deathclaw's really cute from behind because you can see his little paws.
He's not meant to be cute.
No, he's ferocious. He's got claws on the front.
He is ferocious and very menacing.
Yeah. So Karl Franz has got his emblem embroidered on him as well, and on his breastplate. So over to the army then, we've just got more sword infantry on the left. We've got great swords which will move over into the center. These are like the really high tier unit. You know, they're called great for a reason. They're basically the best you can get. They're very, very powerful high tier sword infantry, and I put them in my front line to really hold off the Chaos Warriors invasion of, like, you know, the Chosen and the really high tier infantry that they're going to throw at me. Then we have the Halberdiers.
That's right.
Which is another Empire unit. Basically another high tier Empire unit that's really good against anti-large, so they're perfect for fighting the Giant or the Trolls or any kind of cavalry as well. So here we have the Hellblaster volley gun, which essentially has like 9 barrels on it. It kind of fires like almost like a minigun. And
It's
then
short range, right?
Very short range. And then we have the opposite to that, which is the Hellstorm rocket battery, which is like very long range, but does a lot of splash damage. So one is very focused and short range, one is very long and splashy, essentially.
These are handgunners?
Yep, these are the handgunners. Then I've got 2 of these at the back, just kind of firing over the artillery as they get close. They're just in range of my front line as well, so they can fire on any large monsters that are in the front lines as well to weaken them.
So that's an interesting point. They say they can actually fire over their front line to hit any type of large monster attacking, I guess, a unit in front of them. So I wonder if the size of a monster actually will allow close by range units to not get friendly fire when they're shooting on top of them. Like if they can just shoot over the swordsmen or the halberdiers that are actually holding back the giants. That would be pretty cool, especially for armies like the dwarves or the Empire, where they actually depend a lot on their range units. Also, another thing to note is the Chaos Army did not have any range units. Just another fun little tidbit.
It's one of my favourites here. It's the Luminarch of Heesh.
Yeah, it looks absolutely gorgeous as well. Got the little dude holding a scroll and his candle.
Luminarch of Heesh is actually, it focuses the wind of Heesh through various mirrors that you can see on top of here, basically creating a bolt of light similar to a solar flare. Fun stuff.
The guy holding the ball.
I think, yes, you need someone to hold a candle at the front.
Yeah, well, Well, actually, they have candles on the horses as well. I was going to say, you can't just let anybody take them.
It's very important.
Yeah. So we've got more spearmen then on the flanks, so I've just kind of gone for a nice balanced build here. We've got a Pegasus with a light wizard on top.
Light wizard, lore of light. I know it comes as a big surprise, but this also shows that we can equip hero units with type of the various mounts that are found in the army roster.
So we'll get to some of his spells throughout the battle, but we've never seen a light wizard before, I don't think.
Especially with going against an army with no range, considering he's flying, and since he is a caster, he could basically fly over any unit he wants and not have any chance of interruption, which is a pretty cool little flanking maneuver.
And they're very, very powerful. They're kind of more used for buffing and using hexes more than direct damage spells, but we'll get to that. And then my favorite unit, which is the Demigryph Knights out in the woods. They're actually hidden over here. They're very heavy shot cavalry, very good, probably the best shot cavalry you can get, but they're very slow. And they look absolutely brilliant with their shields that are actually like Demigryph shields and stuff. It looks really, really nice.
So do you have a strategy here with this, or are you just kind of going to play reactionary and...
Real quick, I don't know if you noticed on the bottom, but that looked like a lot of unit cards to me, so I actually went through and counted. There's 28 unit cards, including 3 heroes. So I thought, well, maybe your heroes and lords aren't counted in your unit stack, but however, that would give us 25 unit cards. So I'm really interested to see how their stack system works, because I don't know if it's maybe total number of troops, considering some of these only have 90, 60, 24, 4, 4, and 1. So maybe there's a setting where you can actually have larger stack sizes, but that's a cool little interesting thing. Also, Karl Franz, he's on his flying monster, so I guess when he gets his flying monster or his Death Claw upgrade, he does get the Cause Terror ability.
And see
or
what
ability, maybe it's an aspect.
I did play reactionary, basically, and we'll see that they throw some things my way that you just cannot plan for. But what I'm doing here is keeping my artillery back. I am downhill, which is a problem, but even if I deploy at the front, I'm still going to be fighting downhill, and I can't move my artillery anywhere, really. And I didn't want to just bunch up completely on the left side. I wanted to go for a nice, aesthetically pleasing battle as well. So just for those of you who are going to say, you should have been on the left or up the hills, I thought about it, but I thought I could do better from down here. So Joey mentioned it earlier, but it's worth mentioning just one more time. So every unit that you see that we're playing against or with is in the base game, whether you own any DLC or not. This is what your game will be like when you're playing against the Chaos Warriors. However, if you do pre-order or you get the DLC after release, you will get access to play as Chaos.
I love the fact that the bolt from the Hell Cannon looks like it's some kind of weird concoction of Chaos Magic as opposed to just like a big giant fireball. Nice, cool little touch. I'm curious if they're all purple. I would assume so. They still look freaking awesome.
Warriors and get some extra additional units and some legendary lords.
That is correct.
As you can tell, that is one of the limitations of the Hell Cannon. Not super great accuracy, but once it hits something, it is extremely devastating. I also like the fact that artillery units, I guess for the Hell Cannon as well as the Hellstorm, probably some of the other type of mortar or cannon units from the other factions, you actually shoot over different types of elevation, so you can actually shoot over this hill. Yes, it's not a great firing arc, but you still can actually manage it, and you actually saw this in the Vampire Count siege battle of Altdorf when you actually used the Hellstorm cannon or the Hellstorm rocket battery to shoot over the walls.
Kind of kick-starting the combat here with, well, a lot of artillery fire.
Yeah, so the rocket battery is firing away, and they're firing their hell cannons at me as they move up their chariots and their giants and keeping their army kind of together as they move around the monolith.
But the giant's in no rush. Look at him.
No, he's just chill. He's just casually walking along. I think he just got smacked by one of the volleys. So it looks.
I absolutely. These battles look so cinematic. I actually love how intense these battles are. I mean, it's really a welcome, effect to the Total War
It's fantastic.
franchise.
The flame trails coming out of the Chaos Knights.
Considering
Love
this is
that.
just a
The
standard,
sounds are amazing as well. The sounds of the
not even a
hellcannons
story mission. It's
screaming
just a
as it
standard
goes by.
uh,
I believe it's
kind
like
of forest
souls or
battles.
something
It's such
trapped
cool.
in
I mean,
each-
it's so
each
very
blast.
cool looking when you actually get to
Turning
zoom in on it.
souls into crackling bolts of energy.
Yeah, so you can kind of hear them whistling and screaming as they
It's
go
not
by.
very nice, is it?
That is the other thing. The Hell Cannon, since it is made up of souls, it's kind of cool if you are actually zoomed in enough. As the cannon shoots by, you actually can hear the souls kind of scream and wail.
Speaking of not very nice, this wasn't very nice. Arcane has casted a burning head.
Okay, so that's interesting. Sounds like Archeon, the Everchosen, actually has... I don't know if it's a specific lore or if it's just his own type of magic, but he does actually have casting abilities.
And a flamestorm.
And a flamestorm, almost one after the other straight away, which is absolutely tearing up my front line. So I guess he didn't like me tearing up his front line with my artillery, so he just went and did the same to me.
Well, as you can see there, when the Hell Cannon actually hit, it took out a pretty good chunk of this unit. They actually don't say how many are lost, and you can't really see how many get up. Additionally, when the Hell Cannon actually hits, it does cause a leadership debuff, so it will, does have a decent chance of breaking lower tier units.
But he did a lot of damage. One of my best units, the Halberdiers, has lost almost 50 guys, I think. So that's quite a significant.
So what are you
problem.
casting there?
So I'm casting the Net of Amintok, which is a 10-second hex that stops everybody in their tracks. Nobody in that zone can move. So that allowed me to gave myself time to fire on the giant, and that's the reason I did it there. Basically to slow them down, so that some units hit my front line, that they don't all hit it at once, and allows me to get more shots in before they do. But you can see they very quickly, the Chaos Knights, like over on the left of it, engage my cavalry. They haven't spotted my demigryphs, so my plan is to send my demigryphs out and around behind their artillery now and take out their artillery. Every shot they fire with their artillery is damaging
You
my
can see kind of
leadership,
that bolt
which is,
of light,
what morale used to be in the older games.
basically showing that
So I
solar
don't want
flare
my guys
ability.
to break and run away. You can see some of the guys are starting to run actually at the front because of the giant. That causes terror, and the trolls that are encroaching, that causes terror as well. So I brought Carl Franz up to use Stand Your Ground, which is basically just gives you an instant area of effect leadership buff, and also enhances defense and melee attack. It's very, very strong, and you can use it over and over and over again after like a cooldown period. It doesn't affect the winds of magic.
Oh, you've got the Comet of Cassandora coming down.
So they were quite bunched up. I think they have a metal sorcerer in their army, and they were.
They said they have a metal sorcerer in their army, so it might be that guy right there. So that's actually pretty cool that that Chaos does have access to some of the casters.
Doing something. I'm not too sure what it was actually, but you can see the VFX.
And I'm really curious if this is including, because they said in their recent, I think, Siege Q&A that the magic aspect of the game is being retinkered and retooled. I'm curious if this is showing rebalanced magic or if this is still showing kind of the same level of magic we saw during the siege battles.
They've all bunched up when they cast that ability, obviously to get the area of effect, but it was an opportune time for my Celestial Wizard to fire. Now their giant is actually broke and started to run away, but he could reform, so I got my Luminarch to fire on him.
Oh.
And it was a perfect hit. I think it
I love
actually
how
got down to
that
like 1
can be
HP
actually
or
used as a
something, and then
sniping
one
ability.
bullet, knocked him down from one of my gunners, so that was really
That was
good.
nice. So you only seem to have one, maybe 2 units routing. I think one's come back to you now.
Yeah, so they're just routing. Hopefully, like these units.
I like the fact that the demigryphs do have armor
They
piercing.
should come back if they just get clear of the engagement for a while. So it's going okay. It's going all right. We're holding our line here. Our spells have kicked off right.
So I don't know how you've done. I'm quite intrigued to see what the result.
Well,
of this
I don't want
battle
to
is.
spoil it.
Ah!
So we'll just have to wait and see. But
Well, so far you're doing pretty well.
doing okay. I wouldn't. Yeah, it's quite tough. I'm losing in some areas, winning in some others. Everybody's engaged somewhere, and the guys that are breaking, I'm trying to reform them as quick as I can and bring them back in. My demigryphs now have just engaged their artillery, so hopefully their artillery will now be offline. You can see them out there. Yeah, one of them's actually gone. The other one's just about to go as well.
Excellent. So you've used a demigryph just to wipe them out. Oh, chariots in the rear.
You can see the chariots almost run right through that unit and just basically wipe them out. I'm not even sure if it has any units to get back up after that.
Units around, but there's only 4 in a unit, so Oh, here I was actually really worried that Arcane was chasing down my Celestial Wizard.
He looks very
Little
afraid.
Yeah, he's
hero
going
on
straight for him, and he actually
hero
just
on
kicks him to
Lord
the ground as
action.
well, so, he's in a spot of trouble, I would say. So I'm getting my gunners to fire on Arcane as much as I can. Their knights seem to have gotten the better of me over there as well. They're
Yeah,
kind of
these Chaos
pushing
Knights
into
are
the center from
insane.
behind,
They
which
have
is
some of
really,
the
really
highest, some of the, I guess, the
That is a bold move
higher
from Arcane,
tiered,
just
maybe
come
like
directly
higher
in, but-
endurance.
So it is, but
Heavy
it's,
cav.
he's much better than a wizard, you know. In
So they're
combat. He's got a
very
massive
hard
flamesword.
to
So I
outbattle
was
in a
trying to
one-on-one
quickly
fight.
activate his chain lightning vortex spell before he died, because I have a lot of winds of magic, and that's a very powerful spell. And I just managed to get it off before he kind of routed.
Unfortunately, it
usually when
goes
you're in
almost
combat, it's very
nowhere.
difficult to enable spells. That's why I had to click it a few times, and it did a good amount of damage, but then it kind of spooled off into the distance and didn't really hit anybody. So I brought my Celestial Wizard in and tried to activate his one, which is Banishment, which is just another vortex. Same thing kind of happened. You can see it in the distance there. It soaked up some units. It kind of pulls them up towards it, like similar to the Purple Sun.
Well, the vortex spells are very good against multiple units, especially in that kind of setup that you had there, where there's many units.
You can
all
see
piled
he's
in.
really getting
I'm getting a bit
outplayed
worried at
right
this
here in
point,
terms
you
of
know.
his front line
A
just
lot of areas are
crumbled. I
starting to
mean,
break, but they're still kind of
between the
bunching up,
Chaos
so I
Warriors
activated those
and
two
the Chaos
vortexes really as a
Chosen,
last-ditch
it,
effort to kind of
I mean, multiple units
annihilate
taking
that
on one
section.
unit
It
kind of
didn't
just
quite
got
go as well
wiped
as they
out.
They kind of,
As you
as
can even
opposed
see
to the
here, these
Flamestorm,
two
which
Swords
ran
unit are
through
getting
my front line,
destroyed
my
by
one
this
kind of hit them
Great Axe
initially
unit.
and then moved off into nothing. And I have so many units that are just running away now, and I'm trying to see who's available and bring them all back in. It's really, really not looking good at this point.
You have 6-7 routing units? Oh no!
Yeah, and some of them, I've lost some units, so some are completely dead. Never coming back. And it's hard to micro, like trying to zoom in and show the combat as well as micro. My Demigryphs are out in the distance, not even doing anything.
You
so
could give him the
I'm bringing
benefit
them
of
to
the
the
doubt
fight
that he
as
was
much as I can.
trying to
Get my
show off the
Celestial
game
Wizard who I've
as
got
well
away,
as
trying to
play, and
kill
maybe that
Archaea,
was the reason why
casting a Wind Blast
his
on him,
lines
they
weren't
actually
set
kind
up
of
so
miss,
great.
The units behind him.
Well, he's dead now.
Yeah, so he's been chased again. I mean, Arcane has a serious
And the
like,
hero's gonna rout.
problem with my Celestial Wizard.
And there
It's
he
gonna
goes.
take him down. So I'm trying to focus everything on it. I'm turning my Luminarch actually to face him as well. If I could get a good shot off
I mean, his
Arcane,
lines just crumbled.
might actually turn the tide as well.
So your Demigryphs are kind of coming in there, which is good. They're downhill.
Yeah, they're kind of going downhill, hitting the Marauders as well.
It is pretty
Carl Franz
cool.
I'm
If
trying
you
to
saw
pull him out of
that,
the combat
he
now,
actually
he's kind of
sent
surrounded.
Marauders
Pulling all
flying,
my
which is
sword
what I'd
infantry
hope to
experiences
see
back
from a
into the
heavy
center
cav
as much
unit,
as I can.
especially since they're going
But it's not
downhill
looking
too.
good. I mean, at this point, it's really like I don't see a way I can win.
You gotta love the
I
cavalry
know.
charges in this
I've been
game.
quite outmatched. Now, full disclosure, I played this a couple times, and I came very close to winning one time. So it is possible, but
This is
time
not
I
gonna
think
go
magic
well
just
for
didn't
him.
go my way, and I didn't micro very well as I tried to zoom in on things too much, I think. But it is winnable. So yeah,
Just not by you.
yeah, maybe not by me, but it takes practice. It was a difficult fight, but it's not over yet. So we're still like, I've had to come back from this kind of thing before, but I have spent all my magic. Usually, at this kind of point in the battle, if you've got enough magic, you can still maybe turn the tide if they bunch up, or if you kill like their legendary lord. So here I was like, okay, I'm gonna go into first person mode and just fire directly on these guys. Turned out they weren't manning their guns anymore because they were engaged in combat, but here I am firing
They're about to get
straight
flanked.
on them in first person mode. You can do this by pressing insert. Problem was I was actually kind of hitting my own light wizard, which
You
is good.
can't hit your own light wizard.
I hope I didn't, but I think I did, and he's actually routing now as well. So there I am again, activating just the leadership buffs to try and call these guys back into the fight. It's like, come on guys, Carl Franz himself is flying above you, demanding that you come return to the fight.
I really hope.
These guys are terrified.
I mean,
of
I do
Chaos
love
Warriors. You
how
could hear them
tough
early on,
this Chaos Army
hopefully.
was, considering it
They
almost looked like
literally
it
say
took
in the deployment,
no
they're like, "We can't win
losses,
this, the
where it
Chaos are
always
too
almost looked like it was
powerful."
on the winning side the
Which
entire
is really,
time
really
here.
cool.
I mean, that's what Chaos is supposed to be. They're supposed to be
That's
an
a lot of units
unstoppable
lost,
and a
horde
lot
just
of
watching
routing
over the
units as
land, so
well.
I would want
Your
them to
artillery
be
is
this
now
difficult.
completely offline,
Yeah,
and no one is manning it.
my Luminarch it was wavering. It just came back, and they're getting crushed by another charge.
This is brutal.
It
Everything's
is. And
just
this
routing,
is, this
and
is what
he's just
Chaos Warriors
lost.
are. You know, you're going to play the game and have to deal with numerous invasions. To be
I
honest,
mean, it's
they
kind of cool. I
kind
mean,
of
look
had
at
higher
some of the
tier
kill
units than I did.
animations
They
here. You
had
get to
their,
see one of the
their
guys just
chosen.
go
They had
right
4
here.
units of
Boom!
chosen. I only had
Love
2
that. Just
units of,
uppercuts them.
great swords,
Shield
so
goes flying.
couldn't hold my line
I
as
love
well.
how everyone
But I
is
had more
constantly.
units
I mean,
overall,
look, there's
so,
another glorious cav charge.
and more magic,
I do love the fact
building
that
units.
The
Unfortunately, it just didn't go
infantry
right.
is just
So
nothing
this is the
but
last
jumping,
attempt to
large
try and
swings.
kill
It's
Archaon
very,
and fired
very
a magic
animated.
missile at him and just missed. His health was actually like quite considerably low. That it might have actually done something and caused some of them to rout, but it wasn't good enough.
Even if he
And
did,
now
I
he's
don't think he's going to
completely
stop
enveloped.
much.
So I think we'll just have a little listen, look at the combat. For
We
a
do
second
know
here
that
when
the
I
legendary
zoom in.
lords
Oh
aren't
yeah, and I was trying to get the
constantly
Luminarch again,
dead,
just to
so
fire
even
on
if you
Archaon. I was
even if
doing
he did
everything I
beat him
could,
here
just
and he
to-
kind of pushed
if
him
we could
back
maybe
into the
kill him,
chaos
just maybe,
waste,
it might do something.
he does come back. I mean, it's not like you can't permanently bound chaos at this point.
Where he is being kicked around, and he's activating spells as well to kind of buff his troops.
Oh, the light wizard's coming in to help there. The Luminarch.
You can kind of
Yeah,
see. I love the
just-
difference between the light wizard's little Pegasus and Deathclaw. I mean, I do like the size difference.
Yes.
Everyone's coming in. He actually just activated the Flaming Sword of Ruin, which gave all his units 22% weapon damage for 13 seconds. So that's what all the VFX are popping off now. You can see everyone's just like fighting it out. But Kofran's, you know, he's lost and he's not coming back from this.
Everything
but
is
he's
just
not going
scattered.
down without a fight. He is like pushing everyone around. And that's it. So
Those
he
little magical
broke,
effects,
he
I
ran
believe, are
away,
buffs and debuffs.
Kofran's is hopefully going to get away and retreat back to Altdorf maybe and defend against another Chaos Horde if he can muster his troops.
Well, thanks for showing us that battle.
And that was really everything. I mean, this is a really exciting video to see. I mean, this is the first time we do get to see Chaos, and it actually does make me really excited for the faction. I know there was a lot of issues and a lot of gripe, and I shared some of that when the Chaos DLC was kind of announced the way it was announced. However, you know, whether you can or cannot play it, regardless of if you did get the pre-order or not, they're going to be an exciting faction to face. Especially, and I think they're going to add a lot to the campaign. I mean, we saw in the Vampire Count campaign video that they already marched down quite a bit into the Empire region and already basically laid waste to some of the cities that could not be recovered. So it's going to be an interesting faction. And that was everything we had for today. I have been Atomic Zero of Addicted to Loot. Please join me again real soon for far more Total War Warhammer fun.